I see the problem here. Internet, welcome to Game Theory. Good one. For the anti-Nintendo viewers out there, all you guys coming from the FNAF and Minecraft fandom, what exactly is this baby-eating reptilian? Well, in the original Japanese version of Super Mario World, Yoshi writes us a letter in the message box just outside of his house. He signs it Super Dragon Yoshi. Supporting the idea that Yoshi here is a dragon instead of a dinosaur is the fact that there are dragon coins hidden throughout the stages in this game. Coins that, wouldn't you know it, have Yoshi's face on them. That said, those are really the only two major instances of Yoshi being considered a dragon. In pretty much every other media item since then, he's considered a dinosaur. Where does this leave Yoshi then? Yoshi is so taller than Mario at 175 centimeters, established in an earlier video, with smooth green skin along his back and a white underbelly, red spikes along the spine that lead to his shell, which was originally a saddle, so I'm gonna take that one with a grain of salt. Speaking of eggs, Yoshis are born from a hard shell egg, as shown in its hatching animation in Super Mario World for the SNES. Note the egg cracking and it's chipping away. Its head is very large, especially around the nose. He has a thick, stocky tail, and the species can be found in all sorts of climates throughout the Mushroom Kingdom. We have Yoshi's long, prehensile tongue that it uses to snatch up Bowser's underlings. We can quickly and systematically narrow down what Yoshi is using. Cladistics! Remember cladistics from school, right? Domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, and all that. To do is let us narrow down what Yoshi is so we can put him alongside the appropriate similar creature. Just to cover our bases, I'm gonna start with the highest level of classification. Yoshi is eukaryotic, meaning that its cells have a membrane-bound nucleus, placing it under the domain of eukarya. Its kingdom is Animalia, since it's a multicellular animal, and it must be in the phylum Chordata because Yoshi has a backbone. And phylogeny back on the table, we now get into the segments of classification that are based on physical traits and characteristics. We established before that Yoshi is a dinosaur, so that puts him in the class of Sauropsida, the classification where you find reptiles and birds. From here, things start to get a bit dicey though. There are two orders that we can put Yoshi into, Saurischia or Ornithschia, meaning lizard-hipped or bird-hipped respectively, and as you can imagine, this is based off the structure of the animal's pelvis. Really, the difference boils down to the placement of the pubis. But how do we possibly check out Yoshi's pubis placement? Well, when it comes time to look at the skeletons of fictional video game creatures, there's only one place to turn to: Super Smash Bros. 64 and Pikachu's shock ability. Oh no. Nintendo hasn't really given us an official, accurate read on the state of Yoshi's skeletal system, so we're gonna need to tackle this problem a different way. The order Ornithschia is comprised of the ornithopods, Marginocephalia, and Thyreophora. Ornithopods are dinosaurs that primarily walked on two legs, ate plants, and have a little beak like the iguanodon or the Dryosaurus. Marginocephalia are pretty much the dinosaurs with funny-looking skulls, the bony frills on the back of their head like a Triceratops, or that little ring that you see on those ramming guys that always appear in the Jurassic Park movies. Those guys, by the way, are called the Pachycephalosaurus. Lastly, there are the Thyreophorians, which mean shield bearers. These are the guys with body armor, like the Ankylosaurus and the Stegosaurus. And looking across all three of these categories, Yoshi doesn't fit any of them. He doesn't have a beak or any sort of weird skull extensions outside of that enormous nose of his, and he doesn't have any sort of scaly body armor. So by process of elimination, he's pretty solidly in the Saurischia order, which itself is broken down into two main suborders. Sauropods, the massive long-necked dinosaurs like the Brontosaurus, definitely not Yoshi, and the Theropods, carnivorous bipedal dinosaurs like the T-Rex and the Allosaurus, known for walking fast on their two legs, eating meat, and using grasping clawed fingers. I don't think I need to really discuss this any further. Yoshi's order is Saurischia, and his suborder is Theropoda, hands down. What also helps support this idea is that Nintendo's official name for the Yoshi dinosaur, his scientific name, is T. Yoshisaur Munchakoopas. What does that T stand for? No one really knows. Nintendo's never come out and said it, but I'm gonna say it right here. I think that the T actually stands for Theropod. Theropoda Yoshisaur Munchakoopa. It actually works. It would be his official scientific name. So let's recap here. Kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Sauropsida, order Saurischia, suborder Theropoda. We are almost there. Now all we need is his genus and his species. So up until now, we've been focused on the little things, right? Yoshi's cells, his hip, lips, his pubis. Now we just need to look at the big picture. Common traits across every Yoshi include that huge honker on his face, the frills down his back that are always red no matter what his skin color, a height roughly the size of an adult man, and boots. So all we really need to identify Yoshi is to find an IRL dinosaur in the Theropoda suborder with red spines, a big nose, a height around 175 centimeters, and a set of permanent footwear. And after scouring the entire encyclopedia of dinosaurs, I think I have it. Yoshi's closest dinosaur relative is none other than the Monolophosaurus, a medium-sized bipedal carnivore that lived in western China during the Jurassic period. It's known for the single crest on its skull, giving the front of its face a rounder, more bulbous feel, just like our little Yoshi. It's thought that the crest might have intensified its mighty roar. Mighty roar indeed. Height-wise, they're a perfect fit, with the Monolophosaurus standing almost exactly at 1.75 meters in height, which is exactly where Yoshi sits. It was also known to be very communal, hunting in packs, much like we see with the Yoshis living together and building a society together. The area where Monolophosaurus was found also showed signs of ancient water, leading researchers to believe that these dinosaurs lived near the shores of lakes and oceans, which again, look at where Yoshi's house is in Super Mario World, right on the waterline. And the fact that they have a whole island of Yoshis in the next game. Just want to be clear here, I'm not saying Yoshi is a Monolophosaurus, but based off all the evidence as it's been presented, it's extremely likely to be a distant relative of the Monolophosaurus. Which brings me to the biggest problem in all of this, right? What about the multicolored skin, the long tongue, the whole omnivore thing, and the egg laying? Well, I think all of this actually has an explanation under the Monolophosaurus angle. Yoshi's island is surrounded by water, right? So let's assume some Monolophosauri, got stranded on that island. And kind of like Darwin's finches, only the Monolophosauruses that had the right adaptations are actually able to survive on that island. And survival means food. So how are those Monolophosauruses gonna find themselves some food? Well, let's look at what's on the menu. As we see in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, there aren't a lot of things to eat on that island. The game is mostly filled with Koopa Troopas, the shells of which can't be swallowed, piranha plants, tap-taps, and lava blogs, which Yoshi can't eat, and Shy Guys, which may or may not be native to the island in the first place. In short, the actual edible meat on the island is relatively sparse, meaning that the Monolophosaurus, a carnivorous dinosaur, would have to start broadening out its eating habits to the local fruit, the local fish. But the Monolophosaurus has small arms. It can't be climbing trees to get the fruits that we see growing on them in Yoshi's Island, like mangoes and bananas, so what can it do? Well, it can either develop a long neck, or, better yet, a long tongue that allows it to get both fruit and the fast-flying goonies and gusties of the island. And then what about fish? Well, there's plenty of cheeps in the ocean, but Monolophosauruses don't really swim. Well, we better start developing smooth skin, which will serve it better in an environment where it needs to move through the water. Notice that Yoshis aren't particularly good at swimming. They can when they need to, but it's not just their natural thing. That is adaptation at its finest. And finally, what about their coloration? Why do they come in so many different colors, like bright reds and vibrant greens, but also faded blues and browns? Again, it's adaptation. Super Mario World 2 shows us just how colorful Yoshi's Island is, with bright red flowers, big green jungle plants, but also massive systems of gray-blue caves and brown mountains. For Yoshis needing food wherever they can get it on this island, they evolved to feature a huge range of colors in order to survive. Remember, they're communal. They're working together in a lot of cases to pool their food together. And thus, we have how a carnivorous bipedal big-nosed Monolophosaurus would over generations slowly turn into the neon-colored omnivorous long-tongued Yoshisaurus Munchakoopa. Which leads us finally to the biggest question of all, the eggs. How is every Yoshi able to lay eggs? For that, I point you all in the direction of another reptile, the New Mexican whiptail, a species of lizard that is all female and still reproduces. Through a form of asexual reproduction called parthenogenesis, this lizard is able to double the number of chromosomes in their reproductive cells twice before cell division begins, giving their eggs the right number of chromosomes. I mean, they're certainly not doing it at the rate Yoshis are pooping out eggs. I don't know, maybe we chalk that one up to the miracles of nature. So could it be that every Yoshi is just a female descendant of a Monolophosaurus? Let's just put it this way. It's all just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.